Hey, you guys, this is the Couplings Fire Podcast. Here's a couple of things you might need to know, or maybe you just forgot. I'm Taylor, a volunteer firefighter and also a firewife to my favorite firefighter. Join me as I talk anything and everything fire related. I don't claim to be an expert, I just love to talk fire, and I'm not afraid to get into real and deep discussions. Everything I say is my own opinion and does not reflect the opinions of any agency or organization I am associated with. Let's get on with the episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Couplings Fire Podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Anderson, and it is a gorgeous, beautiful March. I'm not recording that again. March 15th, whatever day it is today. I don't know. It's a gorgeous March day. And I love it because it has been fluctuating between warm and cold in Nebraska the last few weeks. And I am ready for some nice warm weather. I'm ready to get out on the golf course again. I'm ready to get out motorcycle riding again. I'm ready to get out for walks and frisbee golf and whatever else I can get up to outside. That's what I want to go do. I love, some inside activities. I love reading. I love puzzles. I love watching movies, stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. But I've been cooped up all winter and I'm over it. I'm so over it. I want to get out. I want to do stuff. And I love fall weather. That is my favorite time of year is fall. But it's been too cold for fall. It hasn't been the fall weather. Whereas right now, the words right now, the weather, the temperature is kind of about that 60s to, beginning of 70s range. And to me, that's fall weather. Obviously spring weather, right? But it's that same temperature range, and my mood's starting to get higher. I can feel it. I don't know if you guys get this too, but I totally get a version of seasonal depression. And it's weird. I just don't feel it, especially once it gets January, February. I don't feel like doing much anymore, and it's hard to get me to be active and proactive and stuff with it. And everyone's take their Christmas lights down, and it's kind of the boring rest of winter time. And I needed this. I needed the weather to turn around, and right after I get done recording this, I'm gonna go outside and find something to do, because it's been well overdue. So that's what's been happening here. Welcome to my podcast, you guys. If this is your first time listening, I am happy to have you here. This is a preview of kind of what you will see throughout the rest of this episode, throughout other episodes. I speak my mind. I try to be encouraging. Wow, Taylor. Wow. Come on, words. I try to be encouraging. Okay, there's that. I often stumble over my words, and I try to make it real for you. So if you're here, if you like it, I'm happy to have you here. I'm happy you like it. If this does something for you, if this episode means something to you, if past episodes that you've listened to means something to you, I would highly appreciate it if you would run over to Apple Podcasts or Facebook or somewhere else. Leave a rating, leave a review, whatever you can do. It does not take very long, and it really helps others who might enjoy the podcast, might enjoy the content I put on here. It's going to help them find it easier. So if this is something that has done good things for you, or you love to listen to for one reason or another, go let me know what you think. And this podcast and stuff I talk about will get to somebody who needs to hear it. I know there's a reason for me doing this. I know there was a reason for me getting pushed to start this podcast in the first place. I don't know what that reason is. I am sure it's still in the works of what it is. But spreading it to somebody out there who needs to hear it is my top goal right now. So thank you so much for your help in that. Okay, and last thing I want to talk about before we get started with the episode, with the full-fledged episode here. So I was informed. I don't know, it sounds too fancy. Whatever. I was told about Okay, so I've been interviewing for jobs and stuff like crazy lately. So now my, vocabulary has not changed, but I can see myself saying some more of those professional words more often, and it's funny. Anyways, moving on. So I was told about a fire school in Northwest Iowa. So it was actually the Northwest Iowa Fire School in Sioux City, Iowa. I was told about this. Well, I was told about it before it technically happened. I didn't see the email until after it happened. But Lance Routson, over at Iowa Fireflyer Podcast, sent me an email, told me about this Northwest Iowa Fire School. And I'm like, what? I didn't know about this, right? And I find myself finding out about fire conferences all the time now, and especially ones that are more nearby than I'm used to. I'm used to hearing a lot of the East Coast stuff and even like down in Texas and things like that. I don't hear a lot of West Coast things, but I hear a lot of those other ones, but I never really hear about any more in the Midwest or in surrounding states to Nebraska. And so hearing about this one, it's like, dang it. Like, I kind of wish I would have known about this, especially like earlier in the year, so I could have really planned for it and gone. I looked up the classes a little bit, and they look like good, solid classes. And the price point was pretty great too. So this is definitely a training I'm gonna have to have my radar for next year, to see if I can work it in with schedules and stuff. Because I'm assuming it happens in March every year. We're gonna assume most fire conferences do it the same time every year. So I'm excited to keep an eye out on that one. But if any of you guys listening know of other conferences, especially in the Midwest, especially like let's say in Nebraska, South Dakota is a little bit far from me, but South Dakota, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas. If you know of conferences happening in those areas, please let me know. I'm so happy to hear about those because if nothing else, even if I can't make them to them this year or whatever, I can put them on my list or let other people on here know about the opportunities that are coming up. Promoting the training options out there that are out there, and letting people know about it who may not have known about the options before. It's something I love to do because that is something I would have appreciated and I still appreciate having available to me as I'm growing in my fire service career. But if I would have known about these opportunities 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, that would have been amazing, and just kind of taking it all in and not just assuming that the Nebraska State Fire School was all there was. Because at the time, that's what I thought. I had no idea there was anything else. So, yeah, don't assume that anyone knows other trainings that are out there. Tell them. Spread the word. Somebody wants to know. And let me know. uh, anyways, okay. I think that's it for all the housekeeping intro stuff for today. Some fun stuff to talk about. So moving on to the episode topic for the day. For the day, for the week, for the day. Okay, whatever. Man, okay, sorry you guys, this is probably going to be a very scatterbrained episode. I didn't think it was going to be, but the more I'm getting into the episode and, talking here on the recording, I see this is going to be fun. So, jumping on in. If you guys have been listening for a while, I don't talk about this a lot, at least I don't think I do. Maybe I do. I don't know. But if you've been paying attention for a while, I am a huge Disney fan. Huge Disney fan. I love it so much. And it's not just the movies, right? The animation. I love it. I really do. That's definitely what got me captivated in the beginning. But that's not the only thing. I love the parks too. But it's not even just the parks. I love the business. I love how they have things, not really how they have things set up, but I love why they make the decisions they do. I love figuring that out. I love seeing how this company, the Walt Disney Company, was able to become the company they are, right? From the very beginnings when Walt first started it, when he started and failed in Kansas City, then moved out to California and tried again. I love the history of it all. I love learning about it. I don't know, I just love it all. I love figuring it out, and it very much fits my personality. See what happened, see what went wrong, see what went right, seeing what they're putting in place to make them so successful today. And I want to bridge the gap between Disney and the fire service because I think there's a lot in common there. I think there's a lot that we can do, that we can look at Disney from the fire service perspective and see things that we can improve or get a better look into, how can we make the fire service better? So some people are going to be listening to this and are already groaning like, oh, I hate Disney. Why are you talking about this? I'm shutting this off now. Okay, that's your choice. You can do that. I urge you to stay and listen though, because as much as I love Disney, there's plenty that I don't like as well. There's plenty I disagree with and stuff. I especially some of their latest decisions that they've been making in the last couple of years, I don't necessarily agree with. As much as I love them, I critique them just as harshly. So I urge you to stick around, listen to this, see what I have to say. There's really good points that you can take away from this episode. So as much as they can do things wrong, as much as there's some stuff I don't agree with them, there's a lot that they're doing right, and you can't deny that. They have built a reputation for setting a certain standard. People will go out of their way. They're going to pay more money because of the Disney name, even when they aren't fans of the actual attractions or movies. And it's because they know that Disney means quality. Through the years, they've done it time and time again, where that is what they put first, is the quality. And those who know the Disney quality and love the Disney quality that they get when they book a Disney vacation will more easily choose the same Disney name over others in other things, not just in the parks. All right? Not just in the parks, where everyone thinks of when they think of a Disney vacation. But did you know, and this one's probably pretty common, Disney Cruise Line. Some people don't know there's a full Disney Cruise Line out there. And I haven't personally been on a Disney cruise vacation, but I've heard their service is phenomenal. You have Adventures by Disney, and that is a company that takes you to different parts of the world and takes you on an adventure, right? You actually go and you get to see other things. There's not a lot of talk of characters of the movies, of childish things, but it's going out and seeing the world with that quality service. And then bringing it back home, back to one of my favorite Disney vacations is Disney World, right? But they have what they now released or opened, the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. And for those of you who don't know what this is, people are calling it a hotel. It is kind of. I'm not going to call it a hotel. It's not a hotel. It's an experience. Basically, the best way I can describe it is it's like a cruise experience, but it's on land, nestled safely just on Disney property in Walt Disney World. But it is like a cruise experience that you have there, and it is totally immersive, and they scream customer service in there. It is such high quality from the videos I have seen, and from non-partial reviews, from reviews of people who weren't paid to be there. It looks fantastic to me. Anyway, so those are some things that, like, if you don't know that Disney does these other things, they do. Disney has made their reputation on having a high quality of product and having good customer service. And their entire company is built off of what they call the 5 keys. And these are the backbone of everything, what they do. They have safety, which is first and foremost, and what all the other keys come second to. So safety is the first key. Then they have courtesy, show, efficiency, and inclusion. They just added inclusion not that long ago. I want to say in the last 2 to 3 or so years ago, is when they added that one. But their entire company is based off of those values, of those principles right there. Any decision they make has to fit within there. It has to make sense. That's how they keep the quality going. That's how they keep the service up. Now, of course, there's things that the Disney company's been doing in the recent years that I don't agree with, like we just said just a little bit ago, right? I'm not here to look at that. I'm here to look at what they're doing right and what they have done right. So what have I seen that they've been doing right? What do I see that is the backbone why people keep choosing them. I think it comes down to three things. I think it's systems, customer service, and cleanliness. And with those three things, I think those directly should transfer over to the fire service. I think we can learn a lot from the Walt Disney Company. I think we can learn a lot from any other business out there. I think the fire service is in itself a service business. It is. It's a business. It's hard to understand sometimes, and it's hard for us to see it because we love it so much, but it is. We are there to do a job. And our job is to give good customer service and to give service of fire suppression or extrication or medical help or transportation or whatever to our clients or the citizens, the people we help serve. So I want to dig in to these 3 points. I want to tell you about how Disney deals with these points, and I want to show you how I think we can bring it right over to the fire service, and how it's going to help us. It's going to elevate our fire departments. It's going to elevate even each individual fire station, each individual firefighter, if we start implementing these processes. Okay, so starting out, systems. It sounds boring. I know. Systems, goodness. So, every successful business is built on systems. It ensures things are done the same way every time. It doesn't matter what happens. Everyone knows it's getting done this way. It keeps things running smoothly. And any new person can come into that position and know what to do and do their job correctly and confidently. If someone's sick, they can come in and pick up right where the other person left off. They can switch shifts. Somebody new can get elected to a position if they were if they were, running for CEO or whatever it is. They can come in and yes, they can do their own thing. They can put their own spin on it, but they have the systems to follow. They know things are getting done. People run the systems. The systems run the business. This is something I've been studying for years. This is something that I put to the forefront when I was running my own business. And I spent a long time getting my systems right for my business. And it helped. It helped a lot. Because when I wasn't just flying willy-nilly off the seat of my pants, just, figuring out I'm going to deal with this client this way, and then this is how we're going to do this other client. And no, it creates chaos and wreaks havoc everywhere. I wasn't able to keep things straight. I never knew exactly where somebody was at in the workflow because I didn't have a workflow. I just was getting projects done. No big deal. And it's not a big deal when you're small. But as you get bigger, as you grow as a business, you need to have those systems in place. Otherwise, you're going to drown. If you ever were to bring somebody on to help you, if you're ever able to hire help, you can't tell them what to do if you don't have a system behind it. You're going to have to train them from the ground up. And honestly, you don't have time for that. So a few systems that Disney uses, one is their trash service. Did you know, and I don't know, maybe a lot of you do know this, it is pretty much a common fact nowadays, but the Disney trash service runs underground. They have their cast members, and for those of you who don't know, cast members are their word for employees. Okay, so they're cast members, they're janitorial cast members. They take the trash from all over the park, right? They will take them to locations that puts them underground, and the trash gets transported underground. Crazy, right? But it makes the experience of the guests up top, up actually on the quote unquote show level, right, where you actually are enjoying your theme park day. It keeps them unknowing of what's happening. You don't have the smell of the trash. You don't have to see it getting transported everywhere. It's all done underground in these tunnels. It's amazing. They had to create a system for it, and it runs off a very specific system to make it work correctly. Let's look at starting and ending a parade. It starts at this location at this certain time. And they have this rule where the same character cannot be in multiple places in the park at the same time, because there are multiple people playing. Sorry to burst your bubble, okay? This is a spoiler. Sorry to burst your bubble. There's multiple people who play Mickey Mouse. We're going to put that out. There's multiple people who play Tinkerbell. Okay? So, you can't have Mickey Mouse at the front of the park doing his meet and greet and at the same time have him in a parade. That doesn't work. They don't want a kid to go from, I literally just got out from seeing him and now he's outside in a parade. That doesn't make sense. They won't let that happen. So they have a system in place to make sure that when the parade's about to start, Mickey stops his meet and greet for a little bit. Then he'll come back. Because they want their guests to see it's one character. It's one person. They know kids will pick up on that. And then actually starting the parade, you have to get all of those floats together, everyone in their places, stuff like that. You have to make sure that all your cast members are there ready to go, and then start going down their track. You know, you have to make sure that you have the cast members who are out in front of the parade getting people to the sides of the road so they don't get ran over, right? And then going all the way to the end of their parade route and ending it back at the other side. It's a process. It's a big system. It's the only way they make it work. And now let's talk about running the attractions and the meet and greets in general. One thing I found on meet and greets, and I saw this myself. I didn't read it anywhere or see it on a vlog or hear it on a podcast or anything. I noticed it for the first time myself back in, I want to say it was 2016. We were going through a meet and greet, and I can't remember who we were going to see, but I noticed as we got to a certain point in the line, they took only a few people separately, and they took us into a room that had multiple doors, and they took us into a specific door. Most people don't pay attention to that. They just go, they're so excited, they just go where the cast members tell them to. Awesome, meet your person, leave, you're done. I don't know why I was paying attention that day, because I had never paid attention to this before, but I noticed the multiple doors. There are probably 4 different doors that we could have gone into, and we went to the specific one. Because they have other characters played by different people, but the same characters in these other rooms to keep the wait times down. So while, let's say, we're meeting with Anna and Elsa over in this door, other people are meeting with the same characters in these other doors. They may not be utilizing them all at the same time. I don't know. But they have the option to. The only way they can make that work, the only way they could keep the line flowing in a timely manner is through a system like that. They had to know what they were doing when they were building the building for this to be able to have that system. They knew they were going to use that system, so they built it accordingly. It's crazy. So, with systems are important. Systems help things run smoother and faster and give people better experiences. And they save our headaches, let's be very honest. They save us because we know what's happening all the time. We're not scatterbrained ourselves. So let's look into systems and how we can implement them in our firehouses. Let's talk about the onboarding of new recruits for a second. I'm going to say a second. I tend to talk about this one a lot. Not a lot. I tend to ramble on about this point. Like, I've already tried recording this point once before, and I rambled on for so long. So I'm going to try to keep it short. I have talked to so many people over the past year, over the past couple years, from even just going to fire conferences before I had the podcast. And I talked to them about them joining their own volunteer fire departments, or having interest in it, or somebody else they know joining another department, whatever it is. And I hear the stories of what happens. And a lot of times it's good. A lot of times it goes according to plan. But there are departments out there that don't have great systems in place. They just don't know any better. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not there. And let me tell you, I don't care if your department brings people on every month. I don't care if your department only brings people on once a year. If that's what works for you, that's what works for you. And I understand tons of pros for doing it both ways, right? I understand. Do you own it and it's going to work, right? What's important is that we as fire departments, that we explain to the people who are coming, who are wanting to be a recruit with us, who are wanting to come on the department, we explain to them the process of it. Even if it's far out, like even if it's a year thing, that's okay. Just tell them, hey, here's the expectation. We're not going to be bringing people on to this till this date, right? This is when we start our application process. That's great. But when someone doesn't know, they're left in limbo. And they lose interest very fast when they're in limbo. Now, something you can do, let them fill out an application. Even if you're not going through the process yet, okay? Let them fill out an application early. Or at least give you their name and email and, a little bit of contact information. Let them do something. So that way you can keep checking in. Even if you're not starting the process yet, you can check in every once in a while and say, hey, are you still interested in this? We'd still love to have you when we open applications, blah, blah, blah. Keep them interacting with you. Keep their interest, because that's what's going to make them want to come back. Okay? So, but having an overall system with recruitment, with the actual onboarding, if you can help it, try to say, okay, we're starting it this day, right? Maybe an informational session. Maybe here are interview session dates. Maybe here's the day we want to start first having you come to practice. If you pass everything else, if we bring you on, this is when we'd start. And these are the expectations after that. Run through all that with them. The departments that do that, I am so happy with. Because they're setting that expectation, and the people who are applying know what to expect. And on their end, coming from their side, it's done the exact same way every time. So that way, no matter what member the recruit is talking to, they know what they're talking about. They know how to answer questions. Okay, let's move on to thinking of another type of system. What about checking a truck, right? One of your rigs or the equipment. Do you just tell everybody just to check over the chainsaw and that's it? If you do, that's fine, but are you telling them what to check? Or are you just leaving it up to what they want to do? I mean, if you tell me to check the chainsaw, I might just look at it and say like, oh yeah, that's a chainsaw. Good to go. It's on the truck. Okay. Well, what if the chainsaw doesn't start the next time we need to use it? But I was never told that I should try to run it, or that I needed to check the oil on it, or maybe I needed to make sure the chain was on there correctly. There's lots of things that can go wrong with the chainsaw. A thing to think about when it comes to checking your equipment, checking your rigs, actually have a list. And this can be digital, this can be printed out in physical, it can be however you do it, but have a list and don't just say chainsaw this compartment and that's it. No. You can do that. Make sure it's in that compartment, yes. But then go into detail and say like, make sure you're checking this, and this on the chainsaw. Don't just see that the crosslays, that we have enough crosslay in there. Make sure that it's laid nicely and correctly. Make sure you're not going to have any troubles when you try to pull that crosslay off. Make sure the correct nozzle's on there that you expect. Put things in there. And you're not doing this to say your people are stupid, but you're doing this to make it idiot proof that no matter who comes on your department, no matter what their skill level is, or maybe they took a leave of absence and they're coming back and they forgot things. Who knows what the situation is, but every single person is ready to start right there and they have everything available to them to succeed. That's the point of it. And then you as a fire officer or whatever your position is, things are getting done the way you want it done. You clearly set expectations with it. Same thing can be said for ordering and fixing equipment. Make sure you have a system for it, right? If you have a digital list or something like that needs done of what needs to be ordered, maybe when it was ordered, who ordered it, stuff like that, have something laid out where you keep track of it all. And make sure it's done the same way every time so that there's not screw up. So maybe the same person, the same thing doesn't get ordered twice by two different people. Or something that was supposed to get ordered, no one ever ordered it. That's happened a lot, I'm sure, to a lot of people. Put a system in place. Recording trainings and participation points, same thing. You can find some sort of a system there. And then on the fire ground, on the fire ground, we have systems. And you're like, what the heck do you mean? Okay. Your SOPs, SOGs, whatever you call them. Your standard operation guidelines. They are your systems for on scene. For example, how to vent a roof. Some departments actually have in their SOGs, this is how we want you to vent a roof 99% of the time. Unless told differently, this is what you will be doing, and this is how you will be doing it, and this is how you will coordinate it with fire attack. Awesome. Awesome. It's good to have that base point. Now, with any good system, yes, you can deviate from it if need be. Just like SOGs, SOPs, whatever. If an officer, whoever's in command on scene, needs to change that, they're fully in their rights to if they need to. It's just a system. Systems can change as we need it to, but they need to stay the same for the most part to make sure we're all on the same page and we do things correctly together. Honestly, that system section lasted longer than I expected it to. So let's go on to customer service. So customer service with the Disney company. The free reign that they give their cast members. Now, full disclosure, I've never been a cast member, but these are from stories. These are from friends I have who've been cast members. These are from Disney YouTube videos I've watched and stuff like that, of podcasts I've listened to. This is information coming from all of those places combined into one, okay? But the free reign that they give their cast members, they give them the ability to fix things. It doesn't always have to be taken up to the highest person in their category. They can fix things. They're allowed to, on occasion, they're allowed to give away a certain small dollar amount of items, right? If they need to fix a problem. If they see a kid drop an ice cream cone in the middle of the street and start crying, they can give the kid another ice cream cone. Maybe if something happens where like one of the guests comes in an inappropriate t-shirt, let's say. Guess what? That person doesn't get turned away from the park. That person is given the store credit to go buy another shirt to wear for the day from the Disney park. Okay, that's kind of like off base on the free reign they give their cast members, but they're able to produce Disney magic. You're able to go up to a counter service restaurant there and order some food, and once in a while, you'll say, oh, there's no payment needed. Mickey bought your food today. What? And it's little things like that, things that are so unexpected. Nobody expects it to happen. Yet it does. A cast member may say, hey, you're going to get off a ride, but hey, you want to go again? The family may say, yeah. And they might put them, right back on to ride a second time right in a row. It's happened. I've seen that one happen firsthand, not to me, right? But to somebody else. It is so cool. And that's what makes the customer service great, because of the free reign they give their cast members to do little things like that. The unexpected, the just going out of your way to make someone else's day just a little bit better. That doesn't hinder you a lot. There's nothing that's happening that's against you, that's going to hurt your job, or that's going to cause a lot of extra work. It's little things that they can do to boost that guest experience. Another thing they do for customer service is they will not leave your question unanswered. Or they will do their best not to, I should say. They go above and beyond to try to find the answer. And if they don't have the answer, they are going to find somebody who will have the answer for you. It's always been kind of a little joke that like Disney cast members aren't allowed to say, quote unquote, I don't know. And I get it. It's awesome because you don't want to, just have everyone like, I don't know. Well, they should be held to that higher standard of finding out the answer for you. And they do a great job of that. They really do. And with all of this, their cast members feel ownership with the company. They're more willing to go above and beyond their job descriptions to make someone's vacation or make someone's day. There was this cute story of a kid who couldn't go see some of the characters for one reason or another. I can't exactly remember why, but he wasn't able to go see the characters, and so they were at a restaurant, and the cast member said, "Hey, give me your autograph book. Meet me back here at this time, and I'll have a surprise for you." So the cast member took this kid's autograph book, right? The parents and the kid come back at the specified time. And this cast member was able to get the signatures of a bunch of different characters, ones that are pretty rare too. And was able to give this autograph book to the kid, and it made the kid's day. Probably a whole trip, probably year, honestly, or life. I mean, some of those characters were very, very rare. And yeah, I mean, it's probably as simple as maybe this cast member was trained, in these different signatures for these different characters, or maybe some of the other people who are working in the restaurant or on our break or whatever, were trained for that. I mean, it's pretty common, but I don't care about the logistics behind the scene on that one. That kid didn't care about the logistics. That kid didn't know any of that stuff. It wouldn't have made a difference to him. That kid didn't need to know about it. What he saw from the front is, oh my goodness, you went and you tracked down the genie for me. You went and you tracked down Peter Pan. You went and you tracked down Pocahontas for my autograph book. What? No way. That is so cool. Something so little. And it's something the cast member did not have to do. But the cast member knows how much a vacation like that means, and especially how much it means to a kid. And they wanted to show that kid even a little bit more magic. And they did that for him. It's crazy. That's the stuff I love about Disney, is the fact that the cast members are willing, and not just willing, but they want to go above and beyond for the guests. And you know what? In the fire service, like it or not, the citizens are our customers. They pay taxes for a service, like we talked about before, and the service is you. Not always just in fire suppression or extrication or medical services or whatever you happen to be doing that day. But the service is just helping them with their problems. The service is helping with fire prevention. The service is whatever you happen to be getting into. That's what you're getting paid to do. Even if you're just volunteer, the citizens are still your customers. You just don't get paid for it. And the people we serve deserve to have an exceptional quality of customer service. They deserve that. I don't care if you don't get paid. The entirety I've been in the fire service so far, I have not been paid for anything. I'm okay with that. I still believe that I need to go above and beyond for them when I can, because they deserve it. Because I would want the same thing if I were in their shoes. Because I want to make that little kid's dream who loves firemen and fire trucks and stuff, I want to make his day more magical right here at home and not have to go all the way to Disney for it. Maybe he can't afford to go to Disney, especially nowadays. The price keeps going up and up and up. They can't go anywhere. I want to give that level of service right here in my hometown. That's what we all should want. That's what we should all strive for. We love our communities, so let's show them that. So ways we could show customer service, right? Just being good humans. A kid wants to come look at a truck, let them come look at a truck. Technically, they paid for it. Unless you are 100% privately owned fire truck or fire company, your citizens paid for stuff. They're their equipment. You get to use it. You get to ride on it. But it is their equipment. Let them come see it. Let them come enjoy it. You're going to inspire the next generation to come and volunteer, or to come and to join your fire department as a firefighter one day. Maybe they dream of doing this for a career and they come and apply and they finally make it on. You're going to be inspire them for that. So let them come and hang around. And I'm not just talking about little kids. Okay, adults love looking at fire trucks too. So if an adult comes around and is just like, "Hey, I want to check this out," or whatever, don't. I understand you've had a long day. I get it. Things happen. Don't take it out on them. Say, "Hey, yeah, of course. Sure, let's go look at it. I'll tell you all about it," stuff like that. Let them enjoy it too. Be kind, considerate, be nice. Engage in conversation if you're not actively doing something, if you're not busy. Somebody stops by your fire department while you're on shift and you're just hanging out outside and they want to talk with them a little bit. Explain. If you're able to, maybe give them a tour on the station. Build that good rapport with your community. Just going out of our way just a little bit to make somebody's day. It makes them feel better, but you know what? It also makes us feel better. I feel so much better when I go out of my way to tell somebody something nice or help somebody with something small even. If you are in uniform, even if you're not in uniform, but if you're in uniform and you're going to the grocery store to get groceries for your shift. Okay, you see an older lady that needs help putting groceries into her car. You're probably already in your rig there, right? It's all there, so you're ready to respond whenever needed. If you're not actively going to go do something of great importance and emergency, stop and help that lady get something into her car. Take that extra time. It's not that much. It's not that hard. And that is going to, blow that lady's mind away. She's going to be like, "I did not expect this." And then she might ask you some questions about why you're at the store while you're in shift and why you brought the fire truck. People don't understand why you bring a fire truck to the grocery store most of the time. This is a great time to start working on that with somebody and explaining that to them. And say, "Hey, it's so we can respond faster. Make sure that we are always ready." A couple other ways we can show customer service, it is fundraising for causes. I know a lot of places out there do fill the boots. And then there's other things, people put on golf tournaments or poker runs, or I don't know, there's so many different things out there that you can do to fundraise. And that's amazing. It shows that you care about your community and you care about those causes. And then overall, like I was talking before, fire prevention. Going out to the schools, to daycares, just in community events and functions. Interacting with them that way. Just that little bit of extra that maybe you don't feel like doing that day. Like I said, I get it. It happens. Sometimes we're not in the mood. But all those things help with showing the community that we care and that we want to and we strive to deliver an excellent standard of customer service. And overall, it helps them to trust us more. When we respond to their emergency, if you've been out, if you've been working with them, if you've been polite, if you've been interacting with them in any way, especially if you've been going out of your way, they're going to trust you so much more and make things so much easier on you. And lastly, we have cleanliness. How a place looks directly impacts the views on the people who either live there or run it, work there, whatever. And some of you might say that's wrong. I bet you do it too. I bet you go into a place, if you go into a store and it kind of looks not the best from the front, kind of run down, you might be a little bit more hesitant to go inside. But you go in and, it's not bad, but it's not great. Maybe they haven't swept the floor in a couple days or something. And, there might be a candy wrapper over there on the floor. And there's might be some dust different places here. And you see things on the shelf aren't quite put away correctly. They're kind of shoved in there where they can fit. Maybe something's toppled over on another shelf, stuff like that, but no one's taken the time to pick it up yet. And you have someone at the counter who is very nice and cordial and willing to help you, but The place kind of looks run down. Can you honestly tell me that you don't have a little bit of judgment? A little bit of a view that, like, this place isn't exactly the best well kept place, and like maybe this employee needs a little bit of help. And would you really trust him to come and maybe clean out your hospital room that you're going to have surgery in? Not really. No, not really. Not with the place looking like that. Do I really think that this person, if they came into my house, and is going to help my grandma who fell on the floor, like get up and make sure she's okay, do I really expect them to pay attention to details? If I walked into a place that looked like that, I wouldn't. I'd be cautious myself, and I'd be overlooking everything to make sure that everything runs smoothly. Because if they don't notice that piece of trash or don't care about that piece of trash in the corner or some of the stuff on the shelves that fell over or whatever, I don't know if I can trust them to pick up on something important in her health history, or if to make sure that they put her in the collar correctly or whatever it is. Like, me as a person, I would just be more cautious with it. I'd still let them do their job, but I'd be overlooking it like crazy. We don't want that. We as a fire service don't want that. And Disney has shown very well that they put cleanliness very high on their list. So, with Disney, this is something that came from the very beginning when Walt opened Disneyland over in California. He watched for a while, and he found that people would just drop trash everywhere if it was more than 30 steps away. 30 steps was the average amount of time that somebody would actually take the time to go find a trash can to throw something away. And cleanliness is so big to him. It was so big to him. He knew how it could impact the park and people's experience, and he knew he didn't have an endless supply of cast members to come and pick up trash every 2 seconds. Right? You couldn't keep up with that if you didn't have enough trash cans. So he ended up putting a trash can every 30 steps from you. And if you go to a Disney park, you will see what I mean. You're not supposed to have food in the queues for the rides. But guess what? There's still trash cans in the queues for you. It's crazy how many trash cans there are. It's actually, there's a kind of like a cult following of fans who like love the look and design of Disney trash cans. It's crazy. And they blend in so well. They blend in, but they don't. How about that? They blend in that they make sense where they're at and they don't completely stick out. But if you're looking for one, you can find them, and they are very easily accessible to you. And did you know what? A lot of people don't know this, but every single cast member, I'm not talking just about the people who actually do janitorial stuff, and I'm not just talking about the people who are in charge of merchandise, who sell stuff at the stores. It's not just them. It's even the characters. It's the people who are playing princesses. And it's even the CEO. They are responsible and expected to pick up any trash that they see. That's crazy, right? You would have never expect somebody playing Cinderella would pick up trash if they saw it. But she will. That is part of her job description. They are so open about that it is everybody's responsibility. So if they see a piece of trash, they'll pick it up, they'll walk the maximum of 30 steps to another trash can, and they will toss it away. Or they'll hand it to another cast member right behind them who will do that thing, whatever it is. But the point is, it's everyone's responsibility. Nobody is ever too good or too important to contribute to mundane tasks. They spend extra effort cleaning high traffic areas. They constantly go by during the day, and sometimes you notice it, sometimes you don't, of them cleaning up Main Street after people have walked by or after a parade's gone through or whatever. They take extra time, in the merchandise for locations to restock constantly. They take extra time in that because they know that they have to keep up with it more. A lot of people also, I don't know if a lot of people know this one. Gum is not sold anywhere on property. You try to go to Disney World, you cannot find gum. It is not there. You have to bring it with you if you want it. Because they don't want to see gum all over the place because it's disgusting. I don't know why people do it, but they will take gum out and they will put it either under a table or under chairs or stick it somewhere. Whatever. But that's why they don't sell it on property. They still have to deal with those issues because people bring their own, but much less of the time. And like the last big thing that they do for cleanliness, they repaint a lot of things that they need to at night, especially in the high traffic areas. Now, there are plenty of times you'll go during the day where they have like construction walls up or they'll be working on something on the castle. I mean, some of that stuff can't be helped. It's too big of a project, right? But a lot of their smaller things, they try to do over the nighttime hours when nobody's in the park. You see, the park never actually really sleeps. It's crazy to say that. There's always something happening in the parks. People are either cleaning it or they're repainting something or they're fixing something or they're getting ready for a new holiday, so they're retheming everything or whatever it is. There's always somebody in the parks doing something. And so repainting is just part of the gig. And it helps keep those areas looking new and fresh. Okay, so all these ways that they help clean and keep the park looking clean to its best. How does that translate back to the fire service? Okay, come on. It's pretty obvious. I think I've pretty much laid it out for you, right? In the very beginning, when I was talking about that store owner, very beginning of the subject, very beginning of this particular one, I was talking about the store owner. You get a different feeling walking into a clean, tidy bay, right? A nice station. You can tell people care about it. They keep everything nice. The kitchen's cleaned up after every meal. Fantastic. You get a different feeling walking into that than you do the station maybe with the truck that needs washed. It's maybe not that bad, but has a little bit of dust on it. Bay's not that great. You know, maybe some stuff are shoved in the corner. Or like you open up, you don't dare open up the cabinets with your medical supplies in it because everything might come toppling out, or you don't know exactly where you keep the extras of something because it's back in there somewhere. Ugh. You go into the kitchen and maybe it's not that bad, right? Maybe it's not that bad, but there are crumbs on the counter. Maybe some food from lunch never actually got put away. Maybe the chairs are pulled out from the table. Just kind of in disarray. Nothing terrible, right? But not great. Which one? Which station do you think is going to do a better job on the fire scene? And I know it's crazy. I know you're like, it shouldn't matter because that's not on scene. That's back at the firehouse. But if you can't take good care of your firehouse, are you going to really be able to keep on the details on scene? It affects people's perception. It does. Right, wrong, indifferent. You know, if you go to the crosslays, are they clean from dirt? Are they put away correctly, you know? Or are they completely in disarray? Are you going to have trouble pulling that? Is your gear, is it clean or is it dirty? A lot of departments are getting really good about getting clean gear all the time. About washing it and make sure they have 2 sets and keeping it going, but not every department is good about that. Not every department has a washer machine in their station. You know, are your rigs clean? Does your rig have a bunch of dust on it? Does it have, you know, maybe mud on it on one of the steps from your last grass fire you had? Which one looks better? Which one looks like you actually care? Where it's dirty or where it's clean? Not just talking about stuff at the station, but how do you yourself look? How do you look when you go out in public? If you're required to wear a uniform, do you have a press button up on? Is it nice and ready to go, or does it have a lot of wrinkles in it? If you're wearing other, you know, station wear, your department t-shirt, great. Does it have a ton of wrinkles in it? Is it half untucked? Are you completely dirty and disheveled? Do you have stains on your shirts by chance or on your pants? Or do you look well put together? Do you have a clean shaven face? Or do you have quite a bit of stubble from where a beard is? If you go out on a volunteer call, are you wearing a shirt that maybe is offensive? Would you meet somebody highly important in what you're wearing? Or would you feel embarrassed? Is what you're wearing going to look good on your department? Or will somebody take offense to it and will then begin to look down on your department? There's a lot of things that are funny to firefighters. A lot of things that are funny to me. But I'm still not going to go tell everybody when we're on a call those same jokes we talk about or things like that, right? They're just not going to get it. And it's types of stuff like that or t-shirts like that I'm not going to wear on a call because I don't want our department to come off that way. I want the public to know, the citizens to know that they are safe with me, that they can trust me and not distract from that. And not just talking about offensive t-shirts or whatever it is, but even making sure you're wearing t-shirts. I've seen plenty of across the world. You see videos and pictures and things of people not wearing full clothes under their bunker gear. What? Does that really look professional? Whatever you're doing, however you're presenting yourself, make sure that you are setting up you and your fire department for success in that. And I know volunteer departments get taken off guard, especially if they don't do shift work, right? If they're just, responding from home, they get caught off guard when calls are happening. I get it. I know. I've gone to a call in my pajamas before. It happens. It happens. Just make sure you're taking the extra time to think about it. All of that is the cleanliness of your appearance. Nothing else, put extra clothes in your locker. Quick change out shirts if you need to. Stick on sweatpants if you need to, quick over the pants you already have on or something, right? Like, we just need to think ahead a little bit and have a plan for it, and then you're going to be fine. No matter what you were wearing, no matter how you look, whatever. I probably got into that last point a little bit too far, but you know what? Overall, it's just the appearance of yourself, the appearance of your station, your bays, your trucks, your equipment, the appearance of even how you act when you're on scene. And the cleanliness of everything. That has a subconscious impact on people. And do your best to make sure that you are presenting your department with the professionalism that it deserves. Because every fire department out there, every fire department, I don't care if you have 3 or 5 members. I don't care if you have 1,000 members. I don't care. Every fire department deserves to be represented professionally. And our clients, our customers are public, the citizens. They deserve that too. So, 3 things I think Disney's doing right or has done right. Systems, customer service, and cleanliness. I hope you all enjoyed this episode. I will be back on next week with another episode, hopefully with a guest. I've got some different people in the works. We just got to figure out who's coming in first and get some good content out there for you guys to listen to. I really hope you enjoyed this. If you like what you heard, please go over, leave me a rating and review over on Apple Podcasts or on Facebook or wherever you can leave a rating and review. If you take a couple minutes and go do that, it would be greatly appreciated. That really helps to show others what we're doing here. And if you enjoy this, somebody else might too, and it might speak to them in the way they need it to. So that will be all for me today. It was great talking with you. This has been Taylor Anderson with the Couplings Fire Podcast. Have a good night, day, whatever time you're listening, and I'll catch you on the next episode. See ya. Thanks for coming by and listening to the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a rating and review wherever you're listening. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Couplingsfirepodcast. See you next time, everybody.